Welcome to the 186th broadcast of the T-Row Show. And like always, we have a lot to cover today, so we will get it started right quick and not waste your time with pleasantries. Okay, this is what we got here. I don't know what to start with first. We'll start here with some intel. This is actually a little bit older, folks. This was coming out on July 3rd. I just don't know if anybody was paying attention to it. This was the Communist China providing automatic weapons to Antifa, Black Lives Matter. So that tells you right now that the Black Lives Matter and the Chinese or the Antifa, nothing but communism. All right, these are communist organizations. So if you don't follow or go along with it, doesn't mean you're racist. It just means that you don't go along with communism. All right. Okay, here's another one. I'll make sure that you guys see this. So sorry if it seems like I'm flip-flopping on the screen. All county health departments within the U.S. are hereby classified as and identified as Communist Party members. And that's the absolute truth. That's what's going on with the mask stuff. All county health departments within the U.S. are hereby classified and identified as Communist Party members. All orders emanating from the aforesaid county health departments are hereby null and void. Anyone obeying said orders are hereby identified as Communist Party members. Communism has been outlawed within the U.S. and the United States of America. All Communist Party members are subject to arrest, detention, and exile, regardless of employment. So we don't care if you're judges or we don't care if you're lawyers. We don't care about anything like that. You want to mess around with it, you are a communist and you are subject to arrest, detention, and exile for being a communist. Okie dokie. Okay, everything that's been going on, what we really need to do is get down to the nitty-gritty, which is the Committee of the National Assembly for the Government of the United States of America has moved towards a call to place the Democratic Party under involuntary dissolution. This is just a call. When this went out, there was some kind of a U.S. representative that started a bill to completely eradicate the name Democratic Party because of its support of slavery and all that in the past. I don't believe that that was coincidence. Then they started talking about getting rid of it also because, folks, these guys are communists, is what they are. The Committee of the National Assembly. All right, there's a very simple explanation for this move. The Democratic Party has committed multiple acts of treason against capitalism by joining the World Communist Revolution and to the Totalitarian Party movement, also known as globalism. The Democratic Party has made itself an enemy of the country and traitors to the law of nations. And they have. The term totalitarian party, this is in Title 8, Section 1101 definitions. The term totalitarian party means an organization which advocates the establishment in the United States of a totalitarian dictatorship or totalitarianism. So you see what they're doing to Trump right now? They're trying to blame him for setting up a totalitarian dictatorship. So what they're doing is the mayors aren't doing anything about all this violence, so it's causing a bunch of crap, to force Trump to try to stop it and then turn around and call him a totalitarian dictator. When he's then they're trying to get him to set up precedents for their totalitarian party. That's what they're doing. Okay, so if they get in, to the White House, which I don't think anybody's going to listen to them anyways, and nobody's going to pay their taxes or anything like that. It's just screw them. Be enough of them. Everybody's tired of it, and they're tired of their bullshit. The terms totalitarian dictatorship mean to refer to systems of government not representative in fact, which means they were never voted for. When you fake an election or you cheat in the election, even if there's one ballot and cheating, you're not representative in fact. Bottom line. If there's one vote that's a cheat, that is found cheating, you're not representative in fact. That means you cheated because that means the whole election is in question. Okay? You're not representative in fact. That's this right here. All right, characterized by the existence of a single political party organized on a dictatorial basis, and that's the Democratic Party because it's a private company. was so close an identity between such party and its policies and the government policies of the country in which it exists, that party and the government constitute an indistinguishable unit. And there you go. The forcible suppression of opposition to such party, that is Antifa, and this is why they are getting weapons. Then you have world communism, means a revolutionary movement. This has been going on for a very, very long time. They used to call themselves Illuminists back in the 1700s. The purpose of which is to establish eventually a communist totalitarian dictatorship in any or all countries of the world through the medium of an internationally coordinated communist political movement. Now you understand what's going on in China and all that. It's just this is what these guys are doing. So therefore, the government of the United States of America is moving towards an involuntary dissolution of the 527 organization and to exile all of its top members. The move is towards mercy and grace and is better than hanging all the top members of the Democratic Party in the town square, which may traumatize most, if not all, the children in America. The involuntary dissolution also includes, but not limited to, all of its sub-organizations, which is collect donations for the Democratic Party. That's Black Lives Matter and Antifa. We are never coming together. Never going to come together, folks. This is not going to happen. The country will always remain divided on this. It's not going to happen. If the Dems get in there with their communist crap, nobody's going to listen to it, and it's just going to be chaos, and it's going to be chaos until one side ends up dying. Okay? And there's way more capitalists in this country than there are communists. Communism is a very, very small group of people. So we're never going to get together on this. No one's going to listen to Biden if they cheat and get him in. I mean, think about it. The guy's sitting in the basement. How did he win? Well, he must have cheated. Especially because he's been sniffing hair and grabbing side boob forever in front of everybody, especially little girls. Okay, the dude's sick. We all know it. And so if that guy were to get in, I think there would be a massive fraud going on, and they know that, and everybody else knows it. So either way, on this thing coming up, it doesn't look good. There's going to be a huge clash. Okay, so we're never going to come together. So what happens is, and never have meeting of the minds, and it is not Donald Trump's fault. It says this is the way the country believes, and they believe this way before Trump came around. Okay, they all looked at him as a playboy back in the day. So just because he's there doesn't mean it's all his fault. All right, this is always everybody. And just because people don't believe in communism doesn't mean they're racist. Okay? Now, there is no way any of its programs and resolutions will be respected nor supported. AOC and all the crap she does, who the hell's going to pay for that crap? Nobody. There is a split in the country, so it means both sides need to go their separate way, as written in the Law of Nations. So there's going to have to be a split in this country. There are north or south or east and west, just like it is in Korea. North Korea, you have communism, and South Korea, you don't. You have capitalism. So it's going to have to be that way here in this country. We're just going to have to face it. This is what's going to have to happen. There's going to have to be one side communism, which will fail in probably 6 months to a year, but you can do the split it right down the middle. East and west or north and south. Doesn't really matter. I think they had a north and south before. And one was capitalism and the other one was communism or whatever it is. So we'll just have to do it that way probably. Until this changes. So that's it. That's our suggestion. You might want to split and stuff like that. I'm not going to communism. I'm sick of the state regulating the masks. I'm sick of the states regulating the cars. I'm sick of all of it. I'm just sick of all their crap, and I think everybody else is too. Okay, so that's that. Now, what we're going to be doing is, since the Reign of the Heavens Society has been renamed to the Fraternal Order of the Reign of the Heavens Society, completely different entity. It's not like a society much anymore. It has a more specific purpose to it. We're going to go ahead and retire the Reign of the Heavens Society post. So this is going to be turning into the Continental Free Press. So everything here is going to be moved over to or it is being moved over. We're in the process of moving. I'm just letting you know about it now. Moved over to the Continental Free Press. And continental meaning this is the whole continent, American continent there. Doesn't mean we have jurisdiction. It's just a name and a logo, folks. Don't read anything into it. And all of the same, everything is just going to start there. And what will happen is when people go to the reignoftheheavens.com, we'll just have it forwarded over to here. And we'll tell everybody on an announcement that it's not been retired yet. So the Reign of the Heavens Society Post, we're doing business as the Continental Free Press. Okay, so we like this idea. It keeps the Reign of the Heavens keeps getting attacked, and it's causing actually personal liabilities to those that are attacking it, and because it comes out of the Bible, and they're attacking what Yahushua proclaimed into existence. By the way, the Reign of the Heavens has drawn near in the original scriptures. So they keep attacking it, and they're just attacking our beliefs and all that. We're getting sick of it. So we're just going to move this over to the Reign of the Heavens Fraternal Order and the Temple, and we like that. And we're going to be teaching agape love, love your neighbor as yourself, and love your Father in heaven with all your heart, mind, and soul. If you do those 2 commandments, you fulfill the law. So we're going to be doing that, practicing that, showing the differences in this, and talking about regeneration and being born again and all these things that are required under the new covenant within the temple. So that's where we're headed over there. And we're a little bit sick and tired of the Catholics attacking our beliefs. Okay. Now, if you see this is Reign of the Heavens Society Post, this is our logo right here, Equal Opportunity Newspaper. This gets about 500,000 hits a month, by the way. So the Continental Free Press is going to get it right away. They'll be getting all those hits. It'll go directly to them. All right. This is just for the record here. This is One Heaven. Strange website, looks like NWO plan in detail. oneheaven.org. This was the one that we were accused that we stole all of his research, which was Franco Collins. He's the guy that did this. And that's One Heaven. He does Eucadia thing now. Some private membership club crap he does. Okay? One Heaven and Reign of the Heavens, completely different. One is in the Bible. This is the one he made up. The One Heaven. And there were people in here in 2012, they're saying it was a strange website, looks like NWO plan in detail. Absolutely it does, the New World Order plan. And that's why I didn't want anything to do with it. Okay, nothing. So I wanted to get that on the record that One Heaven and Reign of the Heavens, completely different. Because Reign of the Heavens is in the Bible. Now, if you don't believe me that it's in the Bible, I'm about to show you. Okay, this is the book called The Scriptures, and what happened was this was finished in 1989. There was about 45 scholars that came together and got all of the original Hebrew texts, Paleo-Hebrew texts, and brought it to English. They were bypassing the Greek. Some of the places where they didn't have the Paleo-Hebrew, they had to go to the Greek, obviously, and but most of it was done directly from. And that's why you'll see this name right here. This is Yahushua. Okay. Others in English know him as Jesus. But this is Yahushua. That's his name in Paleo-Hebrew. Okay. And this is in Matthew. That's the Paleo-Hebrew term right there. And it says, repent, for the reign of the heavens has drawn near. It's in the Bible. So people keep saying, well, now we have reign of the heavens. You know, they're really nasty towards us. But, you know, those devil worshiping pieces of crap. But they're really nasty towards us because of that. I mean, this is Isaiah right here. That's Isaiah. And then you have Yohanan the Immerser, which y'all know is John the Baptist. Okay. And he did the same thing. He said, repent, for the reign of the heavens has drawn near. And the way this was written, it was written in such a way where it was in the land of Zebulun and Naphtali, in the way of the sea, and the Jordan of Galil of the Gentiles. Okay? Leaving Nazareth, he came to Capernaum, Zebulun and Naphtali, right here. Then proclaimed this right here: the reign of the heavens has drawn near. And we know that there's a New Testament. We're not claiming heaven. Okay, we know that it says kingdom of heaven, but we believe that was changed in 1915 by a group of people that were, well, I don't want to get into that. It's a whole other show. But the reign of the heavens that's that name. That's why we brought that up. The reign of the heavens has been or draws near. Okay, so we're not nuts. We did this had nothing to do with Franco Collins, because Franco Collins wasn't born at the time, and neither was I. Nobody here at this time was born when the reign of the heavens was drawn near. So to sit and keep blaming and to keep saying you stole Franco Collins stuff, that is nothing more than blaspheming the Holy Spirit. That's all that is. As you know for sure that is not true. Everyone knows it's not true. Yet the blaspheming the Holy Spirit means you don't repent for it, and therefore you go to hell. That's the way it works. Okay? That's the rule. This is his name. And then it talks about him going to the congregations, proclaiming the good news of the reign, healing every disease and every bodily weakness. And it goes on. It's all right there. And there's nothing much. It's a little different, a little bit, a little bit different than what people are used to. But, that is what it is. Okay, I'm going to use this kind of situation because I've been using, believe it or not, I've been using the whole Anna von Wright's crew as a teaching tool for people for probably the last 4 or 5 years. And they have been very good tools to use for teaching because they're utterly corrupt. So it's easy to show where they're wrong and what they're doing because their intent is to take and to steal and do all these other things. So that being the case, there's this whole big load of crap, okay, that was written. Big lie, big lie, big lie, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay, that there is now, not now or ever, was any valid American government called the United States of America 1781. You're right, there wasn't. Or any such entity established in 1781. You're right. We agree. And we never claimed it was. Never claimed it was. It's just another attempted identity theft, impersonation in progress. No, you just assumed that it was an identity theft and impersonation in progress because you never asked. You never asked anybody, hey guys, why do you have 1781 on the back of that? Okay. No, we'll tell you what's up. Our unincorporated Federation of States doing business as the United States of America was formed in 1776. Actually, it wasn't. It was formed in 1777. We have never owned, operated, or authorized any incorporated entity function in our name, ever. Nobody ever said they did. Nobody ever claimed that they did. No one said that anyone was speaking for you. No one said anyone was doing anything for you. Matter of fact, your ego's so freaking huge that you think the whole world's about you. And believe it or not, when people get up in the morning, they're not really concerned about you. I'm just telling you. Nobody gives a crap, okay? Now, the entity formed in 1781 was a Confederation of States doing business as the States of America. Not true. Complete lie. We're trying to get back to that Constitution again, right? All right. These obnoxious con artists need to be arrested. Well, you want us arrested because we got you on how many human rights violations and we got you leaned up in I don't know how many billions, and you don't like it. So they need to be arrested. They're Hillary Clinton and Democratic Party. You would think that if the FBI can prosecute people for pirating movies for home use, and actually they don't, that they might manage to prosecute these engaged in piracy and crimes impersonation against our actual government. Well, no, we're the actual government. We're just trying to tell you, because I'm about to prove it to everybody here right now. But just wanted you to see this kind of crap, because little Miss Missy doesn't want to get hit for these human rights violations, and she doesn't want to admit that it's over for her. She's not going to be the hero she thought she was going to be. Yes, we caught her stealing. Yes, we caught her doing all kinds of things. And people that follow her, continue to follow her, you've got to be the dumbest assholes I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay? Now, I'm going to get to the Moors in a minute, because I know the Moors have been helping her, because we've been pushing the Moors out. There's people calling themselves Moors. Well, I'm a Moor. Well, first of all, there's no chain of title in their lineage that shows that they're back to Morocco. Okay, we've contacted Morocco. They don't have any idea what the hell's going on. They don't have a clue. They don't recognize anything that's going on over here as far as these guys claiming to be Moors. The Moorish Science Temple and all this other BS. Okay, no one's ever, they don't even recognize it. I will show you where they should be, though. Okay. Now, everybody sees this, 1781. Okay, what they're doing is they're lying to everybody. Okay, I'm going to show you why. This is the United States of America, 1781.com. Now, why did we do that? Well, first of all, we couldn't get the entity or the domain, the United States of America.com. That's why. That was one. So I said, I'll tell you what, a lot of people get this mixed up between us and the 1789. So why don't we just put the year in it? And I said, I bet you we can get that domain. The United States of America, 1781.com. And lo and behold, it was available. That's a domain. It's not a name of a government, not a name of a country, not a name of an entity. It's just a freaking domain. All right? This is a domain. Now, Department of State for the Government of the United States of America. Does anybody see any 1781 there? 1781? Anybody see that? Nothing there, right? 1781 to present time. Well, ours is in 1776. Okay, well, we'll get there. We'll prove what we've been saying. 1781 to present. The reason why we prove is because we went through this whole thing I don't know how many times. And you'll see the government of the United States of America right here. This is actually supposed to be a lowercase o, but you got to realize that sometimes this is the website that does this stuff. The capital T is supposed to be lowercase t, but the website sometimes does this. It between the back end and the front end of the website, sometimes it translates it that way. Okay. Proclamation on opening the port of entry of the United States of America. We've been doing this a long time, folks. Long, long time. And we transfer persons offshore. Okay. Now, let's go over here to the Articles of Confederation. And see that? The style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. Right there. That's the one we claimed. Right there. Now, why do we say 1781? Ratification by all 13 states was necessary to set the Confederation into motion because of disputes over representation, voting, and the western lands claimed by some states. Ratification was delayed until Maryland ratified on March 1st, 1781. And the Congress of the Confederation came into being. When? 1781. It never was there in 1776, you dumb bitch. It never was. It's the only time it came into being. All right. Now, it was, Article of Confederation was adopted by Congress in November 1777, In this first Constitution of the United States, each state retained every power which is not by this Confederation expressly delegated to the United States. That was true. In each state, by one vote in Congress, instead of the forming a strong national government, the states entered into a firm league of friendship with each other. Okay? So we were here in 1777. Now, that's why we put 1781, because it didn't come into being yet. Even though it was written in 1777. They were still in a revolution. See, people forget that people were killing each other through that time. Okay? Now, if you go in to, that was 1777. Here's 1781. The style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. That's the way it works right there. That's the one we claimed. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. This is where I'm going to prove it. Okay, ready? This is where I'm going to show you. What we did was we claimed that original document, the one that was done in 1777. Now, the reason why it wasn't completed until 1781 was because they had two other entities. This is the Article of Confederation of 1781. As amended November 14th, 2011, April 21st, 2012, September 5th, 2012, May 19th, 2013, and convention on August 5th, 2015. This is when everybody else was asleep. This is when Anna von Reitz was asleep. She didn't know what she was doing. Okay? She was still advocating for the Constitution of the United States, which she's still doing today. Okay? Now, what do you see here? The style for this national government shall be the United States of America. Now, what was done in 1776? The Declaration of Independence. So what we had to do was we had to bring the Declaration of Independence to the Articles of Confederation of 1781. See, people keep trying to go before us in the claims that say, well, we have it first. We have it first. We claim the 1776 one. They keep doing that to try to steal. We got it covered already. Okay? All they're doing is proving our claims. Thank you. That's all you're doing. I've been using you to do that. You've been proving our claims this whole time. Because this is what it says. As amended from the 13 United States of America, that's in the heading of the Declaration of Independence. And the, look at it, lowercase u, States of America. I didn't tell you that last week, did I? Or in the episode 184, broadcast 184, I didn't tell you that, did I? But I did show there was no constitution to it, and there wasn't. Because that was the entity they used in the Declaration of Independence, and finally, after the Revolution, they had all settled on the United States of America, and this was the name of the country. It was a confederation of states. They named it this, and this is how they represented. They delegated authority to it and all these other things. Diplomatic authority. This is why Benjamin Franklin was an ambassador. There was all kinds of things that they did. It was the national, then they wanted, we need a new national government. They never did that. Okay, folks, you get it? We were there before they were, right here. This is our document. Way before. See that? Keith Edward. Look at there. I signed it. 5th day of September 2013. This was another one. We were there way ahead of everybody else, folks. Way ahead of everyone else. Started out in the 13 United States of America, then amended to the United States of America, and then it came into the United States of America. Okay? This is all different amendments. This is a 47-page document. This was the last one here. As amended 8/5/2015. So guess what? We were there way ahead of time, first in right, you're screwed. Have a good day. And Anna, you still need to turn yourself in because you need to go to jail for the human rights violations that you have committed towards this government and attacking this country on behalf of a foreign power, which is Pope Francis and the New World Order. Now, what do you mean by that? Oh, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, now what has she been? What have they been doing? All right. Lie number one: TVM Tribuccio Marcos is a signatory to the World Trust accounts. This is ridiculous. TVM wasn't appointed by his father, who didn't trust him in any such responsibility, and neither should anyone else. Well, how do you know what his father did and did not do? You don't know what the hell he felt, and if he didn't trust anybody, you have no clue. All right, the actual purported donors of the major part of the gold and storage is in the Philippines. Never appointed anyone in the Philippines to act as our trustees. Well, who the hell said that they did? Nobody said anything about it. Nobody said a word about it. This was done for us by Scottish interlopers that operated under the names from 1868 to 1907. Not true. None of that shit's true. And we're not that. And we're not Scottish. You see, folks? You getting it now? Well, you'll get it in a minute. Dirty deed was finished in 1934 when their Roman municipal successors created an independent government for the Philippines so that the Philippine government could act as trustees for us. They weren't acting as trustees for anybody. For us. In any way, shape, or form. All this was done for us in our names without our knowledge. No, it wasn't. Or consent or any authority or any part of or any of their parts or act to act on us and blah, blah. No, that never happened. There was no Scottish interlopers, had no permission to buy landmass of the Philippine Islands using our money and acting in our names. That wasn't your money, and they weren't acting in your names. But they did so as a part of the aftermath of Spanish-American War. So what is she talking about, okay? Their successor doing business as the United States of America had no right to create an independent government for the Philippines. Okay, notice that she's starting to use this now because for now she's just beginning to understand after 6 years entities in chain of title. And she's going to figure out she's been wrong the whole time. And all her friends and buddies have been all wrong this whole time. And we've been sitting here doing nothing other than protecting and correcting and protecting the claim, protecting the country against her craziness and the Pope's craziness and all this other kind of stuff, just sitting there on the front lines, getting hammered away, but we're using it as we're using them as teaching tools to teach everybody what's been going on and what's been happening for the last 10 years. Okay, all this is crap. So just realize that. What she's after is, this is how our American gold came to be in the Philippines when the Japanese walked in and seized control of it for a while during World War II. No. Remember we told you guys? She's been saying, if you do these declarations, pay us $2,500 or $5,000. Yes, Anna, we've seen that website. Okay. Is it legal or legal beagle or whatever the hell it is? We know that you're not doing it for free. Let's put it that way. $2,500 to $5,000, folks. She's been trying to steal this gold, saying this gold belongs to us. So she's been trying to come to push us out, of which we've been there the whole time. Okay? You don't think the Philippines knows that? Seriously? We've been talking to countries all over the world. They know about us. I've been sending them emails forever. Been trying to steal that gold to get her hands on it for who? The Pope. She's using you. Now she's trying to use the Moors, the guys that call themselves Moors, keep claiming to be Moors. We're going to show them who they actually really are in just a little while, where they're supposed to be. I'm going to tell you exactly where they're supposed to be. And we'll be welcome to, we'll try to help them as much as we can get where they need to go. Okay? Now, there was no American gold that came to be in the Philippines when the Japanese walked and seized control of it during World War II. Where's your freaking link to this, crazy bitch? The Japanese lost the war, and it was never Yamashita's gold. It was our American gold heisted by the Brits and the British. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was never your gold. You promised people a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You charged them $2,500 to $5,000. You can't come through with it because you've been wrong the whole time, but you didn't mind accepting the money. And now you're trying to push it off on us that we're trying to steal the gold from you and all the people you're working with, that they're using us as if somebody is in the way of getting the gold that you promised them. You can't come through. You got to find a freaking scapegoat. What you didn't know is we released that gold treasury certificate crap out there, and I put it on the assembly because I knew you'd have one of your little cronies on our assembly, and the word to get back to you. Now all of a sudden you figured out you're worried because you've been lying about us, saying that we're stealing your gold and we're some kind of interlopers and crap like that. Because you promised these people gold and you can't come through. Your paperwork ain't worth a shit. That's why, number one. Number two, you don't have any claim on it. Okay? Number three, who gives a shit if it was stolen? Do you think the thieves would give it back to you? No. Just because you put something on some freaking paper? They don't give a shit about that. That's like saying, oh, we're going to go ahead and ban all guns and expect the people that do the crimes to get rid of their guns too, because why? They're law-abiding? Your logic here is all freaking flipped, and you're retarded. And now you're trying to throw us under the bus because you basically, what you did was you promised something you can't come through with. Because, folks, she lied to you. The Philippines gold is not your gold. Now I'm about to show you the certificate. Caught this bitch red-handed. Here's the Treasury certificate. The Committee of 300 did this through the United Nations organization, awarding this Treasury certificate of the people of the Philippine Islands, represented by, I don't know what the hell this group is, of companies, and Bank of something. It comes in later. But with International Registry. This was received on February 7, 2007. This is not your gold. This is the Treasury certificate. There's only 30% of the gold that was available is actually used in this particular certificate. And it does all this other stuff. United Nations Organization, International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, World Bank Group, financial this, financial that, Action Task Force. The origin of these huge funds that came from King Bernardino Carpio or whatever during the early times for the Philippine Islands, where some natives from Malaysia, Indonesia, Mongolia, China, Arab, India, let me make that a little bit bigger, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, and other Asian natives, included some natives from Eastern Russia. It is uncommon that the Philippine Islands, as some legends spoken, that the land of incant spirits and land of spiritual fairies, whereas according to the myth in which the Philippine Islands was biblical but true story, that some current natives in the islands and descendants of the spiritual tribes of Israel. Okay? Called the new landmark the Holy Promised Land, but the story was enchanted and full of spiritual imagination. That of the story proceeds, and we're given a full context and blah, blah, blah. Okay? You can go through this. Okay? It was actually a Spanish king, Philip IV or VI. It had nothing to do with the U.S. All right? Actually, Gerald Ford was involved in this. Okay, and here's the code name, signatory, trust keeper, holder, coded name, postal address, Sebastian, Philippine Islands, it goes on. And there's a bunch of banks that are on here. Here's the International Criminal Clearance number, Interpol clearance number, land administrator, Committee of 300 chairman, all that. And this hit the mailroom in New York in 2007, February 26th. And she's saying that this all belongs to you. And it doesn't. None of it belongs to you. Nothing. None of the gold is to you. This is what she made up in her head. And she's trying to say, she knows that she can't get the United States of America. She knows that. She knows that we have valid claims. She knows that. So she's using it as, we're trying to stop you guys from getting your gold. It's all made up, folks. It's a big farce. Every bit of it's made up. So she can scam you out of $2,500 to $5,000 and send some bullshit paperwork over to the Vatican. That lets her know we know what we're talking about. Okay, you're going to do the publication, or the other one's going to do the publication. Yeah, we read it. We know what you're doing. We know you're hiding websites all over the internet, and you're not associating one with the other. We know what you're doing. Okay. And World Bank barcode for development project. It goes on. Okay, there's 112 pages of this BS. Here's Citibank, Bank of America. They all got a part of this. Okay, with this gold certificate to back their money. J.P. Morgan Chase, World Bank Group, Belize Bank, Banco Italian, and all this crap. Now, what is she actually literally trying to do? She's trying to use this country because somehow the Pope told her, or somebody told her, hey, see if you can get the United States of America under this agreement. That way, the country goes away. They can claim it, and it all falls under the New World Order. Check it out. Now, you understand what she's trying to get? Either get you under the Constitution or get you under that entity name, the United States of America. There it is, folks. This goes on all the way down. I put this out the other last week, and all of a sudden that comes up. I knew exactly what was going on. Here's the African continents. She fell for it, by the way. Right away. Oh, throw them under the bus. I don't want anybody to know. It was funny, really. I think we actually pulled a Trump and baited him. So there you go. Bank of Estonia goes on and on. Then there's more crap. Then there's more banks. And there's only 30% of this. I think 30% of the gold is being used to back all the banks. And the Rothschilds grabbed it and all this other stuff. But no, this is not your gold. You guys have no chain of title to it. They do what they do. And there's a certified registered land survey, da-da-da-da. Do you remember the survey that she stole from us? Yeah. She tried to steal, but, just because you stole it doesn't mean it's yours. Here's region, non-inventory. There's the cut gold, silver, diamond, platinum, such as this, metric tons, 10 million metric tons and all this crap. I think this is the same crap that Russa tried to pull too, with Tim Turner. I think he tried to claim that he was involved in this, and he wasn't. It's a scam, folks. Just scam. It's a Patriot group scam. There's nothing there. You did some kind of bullshit declaration to put you back under the Constitution of the United States and made you liable for a debt. That's what she did. Sorry. That's what happens. Quit listening to these scam artists and you'll be fine. Okay, now in order to put all this to rest, what we did was, here's the United States of America. We're replacing this right here. The United States of America 1781.com. We're getting rid of that. We're going to retire this particular website. We're going to move it over to, drum roll, the United States of America.country right here. Okay, and it's not all, it's still the same entity, upper and lowercase, everything. Except for of, and we're working on this right now. So this will all be finished here in probably about 2 weeks. We'll have it finished to where it's easy for people to get a hold of. They can go to the United States of America.country. All right, this is going to solve this problem, and get rid of all these thieves and all these people that like to waste everybody's time, because the country's getting run over by communists, folks. And this woman and her cohorts have been confusing people a lot around the country, and to delay, which is a tactic that the Vatican does. They like to delay their enemy while they're taking them over. Anything they can do to delay their enemy, they'll do. He's still pissed off over the 2015 blood moon deal. Okay. All right. Now this will be finished in a little while. This is just a welcome to the United States of America. See right there. No 1781. .country. It's pretty cool. When we saw that, we said, "Oh, that is a God-given gift," because now we don't have to have .gov or even ask for it anymore. Y'all can keep your .gov, and we're going .country. That kind of fits us. So, the United States of America is the country, and what we're looking to do is basically we're looking to do the assemblies and the states, but we've been doing that for a long time. She just hijacked it. Anna hijacked the idea off of one of our websites, and she thought it was a great money-making opportunity for her. And that's why she turned it into a private membership association and wants people to pay per month. It's always pay us per month. Pay. It's all about that. All right? Now, when it comes to the Moors, and if anybody knows a Moor, please, a guy that claims to be a Moor, please show him this. Okay? Please show them this, because they're going to feel a lot better once they know the truth. They know something's wrong. They just don't know what. So they all claim to be Moroccans and all this other kind of crap. Morocco doesn't recognize it. Everybody's pretty quiet about it, okay? But we're going to show you where your real country is. And if you want to leave, you're more than welcome to leave. Okay? Now, Liberia. Liberia is right here. That's Africa. Liberia is it's a country right here. Now, officially, the Republic of Liberia is a country on the West African coast. It is bordered by Sierra Leone, and its northwest Guinea, and its north Ivory Coast, and its east in the Atlantic Ocean, and its southwest. It has a population around 5 million and covers an area of 43,000 square miles. It's pretty big. English is the official language, but over 20 indigenous languages are spoken, representing the numerous ethnic groups who make up more than 95% of the population. The country capital is the largest city in Monrovia. Now, look at the flag. Doesn't that look familiar? Liberia began as a settlement of the American Colonization Society, who believed black people would face better chances for freedom and prosperity in Africa than in the United States. The country declared its independence in July 26, 1847. The U.S. did not recognize Liberia's independence until February 5, 1862, during the American Civil War. Between January 7, 1822, the American Civil War, more than 15,000 freed and freeborn black people who faced legislated limits in the U.S. and 3,198 Afro-Caribbeans, that's what it looks like, were relocated to the settlement by Abraham Lincoln. The settlers carried their culture and tradition with them. The Liberian Constitution and flag were modeled after those of the U.S. on January 3, 1848. Joseph Jenkins Roberts, and wealthy freeborn African-American from Virginia who settled in Liberia, was elected Liberia's first president after the people proclaimed independence. Liberia was the first African republic to proclaim its independence, and it's Africa's first and oldest modern republic. It retained its independence during the scramble for Africa. During the World War II, Liberia supported the United States' war effort against Germany, and in turn, the U.S. invested in considerable infrastructure in Liberia to help its war effort, which also aided the country in modernizing and improving its major air transportation facilities. In addition, President William Tubman encouraged economic changes. Internationally, Liberia was founding member of the League of Nations, United Nations, and the Organization of African Unity. Internationally, Liberia was a founding member of the League of Nations, United Nations, and the Organization of African Unity. The Americo-Liberian settlers did not relate well to the indigenous peoples they encountered, especially those in communities of the more isolated bush. The colonial settlements were raided by Kru and Grebo, and their inland chiefdoms, Americo-Liberians, developed as a small elite that held on to political power. The indigenous tribesmen were excluded from birthright citizenship in their own land until 1904. In an echo of the United States treatment of Native Americans, Americo-Liberians promoted religious organizations and set up missions and schools to educate the indigenous people. Okay, now they're under a Democratic elected 2005. In 1980, political tensions from the rule of William R. Tolbert resulted in a military coup, during which Tolbert was killed, marking the beginning of the years-long political instability. 5 years of military rule by the People's Redemption Council, 5 years of civilian rule by the National Democratic Party of Liberia were followed by the First and Second Liberian Civil Wars. These resulted in the deaths of 250,000 people, about 8% of the population, and the displacement of many more, and shrank Liberia's economy by 90%. Peace agreement in 2003 led to democratic elections in 2005, in which Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was elected president, making history, the first female president in the continent. National infrastructure and basic social services were severely affected in the conflicts as well. By 2013 and 2016, outbreak of Ebola virus, with 83% of the population living below the international poverty line as of 2015. Okay, so what we got to do is this government can actually help you, and it can help Liberia get it all working back to the way it was, okay, where it's flourishing again. That was where that was set up in 1848 to where those that were freed were supposed to go. Okay, and right after the Civil War, or right around the Civil War, is when they started recognizing it and say, yeah, let's go, because that's what the United States did. They recognized Liberia. Its flag is over there. Okay, it became what they call a U.S. territory. And that was for the purpose of the freed slaves to go back to Africa, and you actually have your own country. So taking part of Texas, kind of stupid, not going to work. All right, and I do want to show, ask people that Texas is being hit by a hurricane right now. It's a Category 1. We all know how easily Texas floods because of the lowlands. So if we could start exercising some agape love towards those people and help them out as much as we can, and have them in your prayers. Be great if you did that. Now, early colonization, it went on, and here's the whole thing. Okay, from start to finish as far as its history. But this is where everybody was supposed to go. This is on July 26, 1847, the settlers issued a Declaration of Independence and promulgated a Constitution. Based on the political principles of the United States Constitution, it established the independent Republic of Liberia. The United Kingdom was the first country to recognize Liberia's independence. The United States did not recognize Liberia until 1862, after the southern states who had a significant influence in the African government, seceded from the Union to form a confederacy. The leadership of the new nation consisted largely of Americo-Liberians. Okay, so just letting you know that you didn't have to go through all this. What I think happened is this is just my opinion, based on the many years that I've been here, okay, and I've observed. This is what I think happened. I think the Democratic Party came in and their support for slavery, and I think they did the 14th Amendment, number 1. That was a sales job, by the way. And what I think happened was they had the Emancipation Proclamation. They freed the slaves here after the Civil War, and then either didn't tell them about Liberia. That's number 1, where you could go back to. They had already got it all set up for you. Freed slaves, because that's usually what happens. Freed slaves don't normally stay in the country that they were enslaved in. This is the weird part of the whole country. They usually leave. That's usually what happens. But I think the Democratic Party said, I'll tell you what we can do. We can use these people as votes to keep us in office. And they've been doing it ever since. I think that's what's been going on. I think everybody has been duped. A big, long lie. And then they said, okay, we're going to have to control the population. So they brought in Planned Parenthood and have been implementing that for a long time, killing black babies. Everybody knows the rest of the story. Keeping them in poverty and promising them every 4 years that they're going to bring them out and they're going to have equal rights and all this other crap. And they've been using them ever since. That's not the whole country, believe me. We would rather not have that issue. So there is a choice. So you don't have to turn to Islam, number one. You have a place to go, and you don't have to sit there and claim that you're Moors, because you're not. You don't have any family lineage that goes back to you proving that you're a Moor. It just doesn't exist. But this was set up for everyone. Now you know your choice. You have a choice. So you're welcome to check it out. And I would suggest that you call Immigration Naturalization over in the Fed side, the U.S. side, and see what can do if you really want to leave, if you want out of here. And you just think you don't have a place to go. You don't have to go in and start doing some autonomous thing with some black militia deal and thinking that, we're actually fighting globalists over here. We're not really fighting black lives at all. I mean, it really is not even a part of it. Okay. We're fighting international communists is what we're doing. The rest of this is just insignificant. The communists are the ones that are using you. But, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, there you go. And at least you have the truth all the way through. We're going to, we'll put some things up here and there as far as when it comes to what Anna and her crew is saying. But at least you know what's going on, folks. She can't come through with what she'd promised, so she's blaming us and throwing us under the bus. And we have a lot of people, and we're still getting people that are doing resident declarations every week. We're still getting people. And it grows slowly, but it's growing. It's still growing. We're still getting resident declarations. People are still taking oaths and affirmations. People are still learning. They're learning about the how governments run and all this other stuff. They're taking on different jobs to learn as much as they can. The great jury's doing well. The union's doing very well. We got some really good people in office over there. They had their first vote last December, their first election, and everything's doing fine. It's the people, okay, that's going to let you know. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to just know what happens, okay? We have it's like 21 general postmasters, and what we do is we just process paperwork. We process people through from offshore into the states of the Union. The people that you hear, like, he's a dictator and all this other kind of crap, okay, those are the people that come in, and they're here to learn. And they're not, they don't know that. Okay, so what they do is they start attacking me or they attack others, general postmasters. You just don't do that. We really have nothing to do with you. We're just processing your paperwork through. That's all we're doing. We have nothing to do with what's going on with you, whatever your issues are, your personal issues, whatever is going on with you, okay? It's really none of our business. Go get some counseling. It's nothing personal. But what they do is they're lazy, okay? And they see that the government of the United States of America works very well. And they see that the organization is fine and everything's smooth and things work well with it. We're able to take action on certain things very quickly. It's been tested over and over again. Our claims have been tested over and over again. Just to show the rest of the people that we have the claims, or the original, we have the original claims. So what happens is they start realizing they have to do some work, and not everything's going to be done for them, and they can't take or be a part of the government of the United States of America They have to actually build their state government, and they don't want to do that. They're lazy. So they claim that there's two different statuses, that one's higher than the other. They do all this other crap. None of it's true. And so they go out and they ruin everybody else's chance, because maybe they wanted to be a part of their own state. Maybe they wanted to be a part of a political party where their vote counted, and maybe they wanted to be a part of state government. But they go out and they ruin everybody else's chance because of their laziness, their despair, and their just pure evil, doing evil crap, lying. Okay, we had them when we had the states open for about a year. We had them hijacking everything, man. It was messed up. We had people arguing over interim governments and interim positions. It's like you haven't even had an election yet, and you're arguing over offices. Who's going to be governor and all this other kind of crap? It's just a bunch of kids that we had to work with. So we had to put them back in trust, and now we're working with them at the union, and we're working with trying to get them to understand what's going on, and this is how things operate, and it doesn't really matter who's in charge of what as long as it gets done. Doesn't matter who gets the credit. It's just the way it is. So anyway, that's what we've been working with. And if you're wondering what's taken so long and all that, it just takes people a long time to learn. They're running out of time, but it takes them a while to learn. So we operate mainly through the we emailed all of their so-called the American States Assemblies or whatever the hell they wanted to call themselves. We were emailing all their coordinators. All we got back was two people, and they were basically saying the same thing that Anna was telling them to say. So I figured, well, they got some real thinkers over there. And, it's harder than you think. The whole thing is very hard to deal with. You can't go and coordinate this stuff all over the country without a lot of corruption. People will start hijacking the assemblies, make it their own piggy bank. There was one guy that that we remember that he used to take trips and stuff, saying he was working for the assembly, but he would have the assembly basically was his own piggy bank. He would just get, well, I need some money to go to Washington D.C. for some research. They're like, well, pay for it. No, I need it for you. This is your assembly, right? Well, then I need your money. So he would go to the nice hotels and all this other kind of crap. People that just didn't have the money. They were poor. They didn't have the money to do that. So that's going to happen. It just, but that's what we're trying to prevent. There's a lot of things that we're trying to prevent that we see happening. A lot of arguing and things like that, and people tripping out. But dealing with people, that's the way it works. So anyway, everybody has their growth issues and spurts. They have their growth problems, growth. But it is what it is. So anyways, if you're not convinced by now as to who we are and that we have original jurisdiction, yes, we were there, and yes, we have first in time, first in right, and all that, then there's nothing we can do to help you. You're just blind. You're blinding yourself, and you will be, you'll just be living in a lie, and there's nothing more we can do for you. So just that's the way it works. But thanks for listening to the 186th broadcast. Oh, wait a minute. I got one more thing I got to show everybody. Okay, I got everything done except for one thing. Probably the most important thing. You guys are going to love this. Okay, I know this is going to be a little bit of an extension here, but what we're going to talk about is this. There was an answer that Yahushua, Jesus, gave. He said, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's and give unto God what is God's. And talk about money and taxes. Now, it came to me actually what that was meaning, because it was an idea that I realized what was going on. Now, if you put this together, when it comes to the contract and dealing with a particular kind of currency, you'll get what he was saying. Well, actually, what I think he was saying. So working off of what I think he was actually telling people was this: money is a contract. That's Caesar's coin. If that's Caesar's coin, you're going to be under Caesar's contract. You got to pay the taxes. If you use another coin, you don't have to. Without that, right? So this is what we put together for the terms and conditions of use of the continental dollar, because the continental dollar is legal tender for debts public and private. So on the private side of it, through private contract, we set things up, I think, that everybody's really going to like. I think even Trump will like it. By using the continental dollar is subject to the following terms and conditions. You can find this on continentalpublicbank.com. Continental dollar agrees to be bound by these terms and conditions. Remember, the continental dollar agrees to be bound and agrees that the user of the continental dollar is obligated and responsible for the agreement. If the user of the continental dollar disagrees with any of these terms, the user is prohibited from accessing the site and trading using the continental dollar. All materials contained on this website are protected by copyright and trademark, so that any of the terms and conditions cannot be usurped by any foreign person that is not a party to the agreement. And based on the theft of the metes and bounds, you see why we do that. All right, the United States in Congress assembled hereby omits the following paragraph from the Declaration of Value as amended and published by the Office of the Treasury for the Government of the United States of America that was done on 8/27/2016. So it is declared that the national currency term on the current continental dollar shall be amended to read continental dollar on the money of the government of the United States of America. Any and all issuance with the term continental currency shall have the same effect, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's just the act. You can read that. You're more than welcome to do that. You can find that under terms and conditions on continentalpublicbank.com. Declared by, okay, this deals with mortgages, by the way. Other terms, the use of the continental dollar restricts all public institutions under certain conditions that are subject to the following restrictions, but not limited to, based on the fact that no state can make any laws to impair the obligation of a contract. It's called the contract clause. Public institutions are hereby restricted by the following terms and user damages on any public property of the claimant. Now, the user is protected when using the continental dollar under the following conditions. When the user is exercising the right of freedom of the press, freedom to petition or for redress of grievance through the great jury, freedom of assembly, assembled with peers, freedom to practice religion that is not assembled as a military theology as an enemy of capitalism. The user of the continental dollar is with the right to bear arms and freely own private property. The user of the continental dollar is with the right to be free of compulsory military service in the service of the tripartite of the City of Washington, Vatican City, and the City of London, hereinafter tripartite, and is further free from aiding and abetting its soldiers by forced quartering. The user of the continental dollar is with the right to be free of any searches and seizures and arbitrary arrest by one of its employees, soldiers, or otherwise unless found trespassing upon the tripartite. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of international due process, either accepting or prosecuting with the practice of the international due process. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of a fair trial in all matters of civil criminal cases or criminal cases and within the court of law or equity. No more administrative courts. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of equity in all civil cases. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of non-excessive bail, non-excessive fines, and immune from cruel and unusual punishment. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of a social compact, and if without a social compact, is with the right of a proprietor. The user of the continental dollar is with the right of a federal republic as written and defined within the law of nations. The continental dollar is a subject of the New Covenant, Law of Nations, the Articles of Confederation as amended August 5th, 2015, and is counted and balanced by the Office of the Treasury for the Government of the United States of America, wherein is delegated to various offices and body politics or public banks. Limitations. The continental dollar or its user cannot be regulated or subjected by the United Nations, nor become a subject of the United Nations. There it is. The Continental Dollar or its user cannot be regulated or subjected by any Federal Reserve Bank, nor any court of the Federal Reserve. The Continental Dollar or its user cannot be regulated or subjected by any international bar association, nor the American Bar Association or other bar association, or any of its members or its creators. The Continental Dollar cannot be regulated or subjected by any implied warranties or suffer any liability for incidental or intentional damages suffered by anyone. The Continental Dollar or its user cannot be regulated nor subjected to any forced vaccination, executive orders, implants of electronic chips, totalitarian party or practice, any form of totalitarianism, communism, fascism, socialism, any religion or political structure under military theology, any Me Too theology, Karenism, religion, face mask, power of attorney, proletariat class, slavery or aristocratic republican trolls. Continental Public Bank may revise the terms and conditions and use of the Continental Dollar, so revised by the Committee of the National Assembly for the Government of the United States of America for its website and use of the Continental Dollar. Governing law, any claim related to the Continental Public Bank's website should be governed by the laws of the Government of the United States of America without regard to its conflict and provisions of law provisions. You think about it. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Give unto God what is God's. Is the contract you have with the Continental Public Bank or the Continental Dollar. All we had to do was define it under the terms and conditions. If you're not using USD, you're not subject to any of that crap. Get it? If you're not using the USD, now you understand what they've been doing. They've been changing the terms and conditions of the use of the money since 1914. Slowly been doing it and running you under communism and world communism, trying to take your borders, your metes and bounds. Been trying to do all kinds of stuff to you. Declaration of Interdependence, National Emergency Act, under Sputnik, doing all kinds of stuff. Vietnam, that was under contract under that money, using the Federal Reserve note. Turned you into communists. Took away anything you had as far as Bill of Rights and all that stuff. Y'all realize that the Bill of Rights in this particular conditions and these conditions right here has been brought back to where even U.S. citizens can use the Continental Dollar and now have their Bill of Rights. Just fix the whole country. We gave the U.S. citizens what they wanted. American nationals and residents already have what they wanted. All of the charters and the original charters in the states and the original states' constitutions are all back under this agreement. The whole thing's been fixed. I'd like to thank Yahushua because he destroyed what is going on today 2,000 years ago. That is what I call a miracle. Thanks for listening to the 186th broadcast of the T-Row Show, and we will see you next week.